What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and today I'm coming at you with my best bets video for UFC Rio. You guys know the deal. We're going to talk about all the best plays, the best bets, and we are going to try and make some money this week. Now, first up, let's go through these fights. Now, first up, we got Luan Lacerda versus Simon Oliveira. I mean, this quite literally sums it up perfectly how I'm feeling about this fight. I would rather throw money into a fire than put any money on these guys. And I do have a parlay with Luan Lacerda in it, but it was before I placed it earlier in the week. It was before Simon Oliveira came in a whole weight class up, so that's why I like to wait on these betting videos, because there's always some BS that happens, and now I'm in this position where I wish I didn't even play it, but I have him in there. But in terms of the single bets, I got nothing on him, and I will not have anything on him. Like I said, after seeing that weight miss, I do not want to have any action on this fight. Now, for the ladies, I do have a little parlay with Julia Polastri in it. We will talk about here in a second. But in terms of the singles, I was looking about, if you're playing it a little bit cheeky, you could go Julia Polastri moneyline in over 1.5 rounds at minus 290. I do think this fight goes long, as we can see. Both girls are pretty damn durable. Carolina's only been finished, I believe, 2 times in her whole UFC career, or 3 times in her professional career, out of like 9 total losses. So she's pretty damn durable. She only got knocked out by Jessica Andrade. So, I mean, she packs a punch. So she's pretty damn durable. I think this could go over. Now, I wouldn't be surprised. I could see Julia Polastri getting a late finish. It could be a round 3 finish. It could happen. But more than likely, this goes to a decision. I think both girls are pretty durable. They're not the most dangerous, especially Carolina. She's really not dangerous at all. So I think she only has 1 pro knockout ever. So she's really not all that dangerous. So I don't really hate the overlines on this. If you're going to take Julia Polastri, you could parlay her up with the over 1.5. It's just this weird thing in Brazil to where if maybe she starts landing on Carolina, maybe she has her down, maybe she knocks her down, and she's just landing some follow-up shots. I wouldn't be surprised if the refs are quick to call finishes this week, if the Brazilians are getting crazy. We saw it in France. Same thing could happen here. So I wouldn't be totally surprised. So I'm not dying to play the overs, but I do think it's pretty good value considering she's a minus 550 favorite. Kind of cuts it in half against a girl who is pretty durable. And Julia Polastri, she really beats people down with her volume. She's really just trying to wear you down and break you down as fights progress. It's not like a Jessica Andrade where she's landing that nuke. So I like the over on this. I just haven't played it yet. It was just something I was thinking about. Also, I don't hate the Julia Polastri minus 3.5 spread. If you think that she can finish Carolina, or you think she's going to completely dominate and have no moments of success for Carolina, the minus 135, I actually think that's decent value. I'm considering playing a little quarter unit on this. I haven't played it yet just because I have her in another parlay we'll talk about. But I'm like on the fence about it, because you're figuring, all right, she's in Brazil. It's going to be point striking back and forth. There's not going to be a whole lot of wrestling. And if it is, I would assume Julia Polastri would be the one really pushing the clinch against the cage. So if this fight's going in Brazil and the crowd's going crazy for Julia Polastri, I would not be surprised at all if she wins a 30-27. And that's the thing about the minus 3.5 spread that I love, is that you only need one judge to give whoever you're doing that minus 3.5 for. You only need one judge to give them a 30-27. So if one judge gives Julia a 30-27 and the other 2 judges say it's a 29-28, that line would still cash. I'm this close. I'm almost like talking myself into it. I might have a quarter unit on this. That might be a good value play, honestly, because I like it, because you're cutting that money line down. And we've seen, too, in Carolina's last 2 fights against the young, hungry prospects, she's gotten smoked. I mean, that line's hitting both 2 fights that she's had against Lucindo and, what's her name? Lucindo and Denise Gomez. So it's hitting both of those. And I think Julia Polastri in her hometown of Brazil, I think the crowd's going to be going crazy. Any close fight, any close round, is going to go her way. I like her volume more. Carolina's really slowed down and become more of a punchy bag in her last couple fights, so hasn't been really looking great. And at 40 years old, I think Julia is really going to have her way here. And I think it's going to go like her Carolina's last 2 fights, where she really gets dominated in 30-27. But that does it for this one. I got another parlay. We'll talk about it. Also, I'm looking at a live betting spot too. If there's any chance that Carolina has some success and this line tightens up and it gets to a minus 200 or better, I will have something on it. Even minus 250 or better, I'll probably have something on it. So it could be. I don't really foresee this happening, but there's a potential there. Now, next up, for Lucas Roja versus Stuart Nickel. I got this line. I started to put this green. I actually did play this already. I just think there's really good value on this. Lucas Roja, we've seen him submitted before by Clayton Carpenter, and we know Stuart Nickel, he's coming into this fight with, I think it's like he's been training BJJ for 12 plus years at this point. That's longer than Lucas Roja's been training. He's a 2nd degree black belt, I believe. His grappling stats and his credentials are extremely valid, and we've literally seen Lucas Roja get submitted before, and we've seen Stuart Nickel. We know his grappling background is very high level. So I think for minus 220, I think that's his only real win condition here. You know, that's why I haven't placed this bet, but I do think it's good value. I was looking at Lucas Roja via KO or Stuart Nickel via submission. I just think it's either one of these guys win condition. I feel like that's how they get the job done here. I feel like Lucas Roja, if he can get the knockout, it's going to be likely early, maybe under 1.5, maybe first or second round. But if he starts to slow down, if he starts to tire out, if he gasses out, he's going to allow Stuart Nickel into this fight. And if he gets tired, if he lets Stuart Nickel take his back, just like Clayton Carpenter did, I would not be surprised if he wraps up a submission against Lucas Rojas. So I think it could go either way. It could go to a decision. It's one of those where like the value is really not great considering these guys are such a low weight class. But at the same time, it was standing out to me, so I had to put it in here. I just haven't played anything on it yet, but I did play the Stuart Nickel sub-only prop. That meaning sub-only, KO or decision, no action, meaning if there's no submission, if it's a knockout or decision from either guy, you get a complete refund on your money. So I'm expecting a refund on this, honestly. If Lucas Rojas, he could easily get him out of there in the second. It could go to a decision. Anything could happen here. I just do not see Lucas Rojas submitting Stuart Nickel. That would be absolutely crazy. That would blow my mind. So for the odds, minus 220. I played it light, though. You never know, man. You never know. Stuart Nickel, he hasn't really proven himself in the UFC yet. Neither has Lucas Rojas. Hasn't really proven himself either. So I wouldn't be completely mind blown if a haymaker comes out of left field. Maybe he rocks Stuart Nickel and then wraps up a submission. It could happen. It could. Not out of the world of possibility. I would be pretty damn surprised, I'm not going to lie, but for the odds, minus 220, I thought it was a good little sprinkle, but I'm not really too confident in either guy in terms of where they're going to go in the UFC, so just played it light there. And the next couple fights, really didn't want a whole lot on it. Mesquita versus Alexeva, the line's just completely shot. I thought about parlaying up Mesquita. I was looking at some sub props. They're just so damn wide. I don't know if I can get there. Petrino versus Peterson, I do have him parlayed up a little bit later, but we'll talk about, but in terms of the singles, the line is pretty damn wide. I'm confident in Vitor Petrino. He should come in here and get it done. It's just I've seen him shit the bed before, and that does get me a bit concerned just because this line is so wide. You know what I mean? It's so wide. Minus 300 for heavyweights. It is very wide. Even though I have him parlayed up, it feels one of those bets where it's like, it's not the most intelligent, and I kind of know that, and I'm going into it knowing that it's not the smartest bet, but I'm still making it anyway. So sometimes you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's kind of this Petrino fight. Even though I'm confident in him to get it done, it's just purely from the line and from the betting standpoint. Whereas something like, Joel Alvarez, I'm much more willing to, all right, I know it's probably odds-wise not the smartest bet statistically. You're kind of betting against the trend there, or against the long-term, I guess, profitability, you know what I mean? Like, you're definitely not doing yourself any favors throwing these huge favorites into your parlays, but at the same time, I'm taking the risk, live by the sword, die by the sword. But like I said, Vitor Petrino, a little bit more risky, even though I'm saying all this, but I do have him parlayed up because we're playing it we're trying to find some value here. But next up, we got Rafael Filho versus Clayton Carpenter. These guys are both high level. Anything can happen. It's going to be a lot of grappling. It's going to be very subjective. We're in Brazil. I see this fight likely going long, so I damn sure do not want to bet against Rafael Filho. Now, I do like Clayton Carpenter a lot, though. He is very talented, and that's why I had this as a trap in my other videos, is because I feel like if this was in the United States, I would pick Clayton Carpenter. I think he probably has the better hands. He probably has the better wrestling. It's just the pure BJJ of Rafael Filho is pretty damn dangerous. It could go either guy's way. His scrambling is pretty damn good. So this one has me a bit worried. I was just like, you know what? Let me just stay off of this. I don't want to bet against the Brazilian guy because they win at a high clip in Brazil. So that does it for that one. Next up, Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. Thank you guys for commenting about the hand shit. I did not see that. I don't know how I didn't notice that when I was watching the weigh-ins, but I didn't see the hand until you guys commented to me. So thank you guys for letting me know in the comments. I really appreciate it. Yeah, the line completely blew up. Honestly, though, for minus 240, considering a guy is going to be fighting with a extremely fight-altering injury, I thought the line would be a lot wider. Like, when I saw that line, I thought it was going to be like minus 400, just because it's not like either guy is a killer, but at the same time, you're fighting with a broken hand. I mean, that you could be Alex Pereira and you're fighting with a broken hand. I mean, you're bound to have some fucking problems. That's not going to be good. So for the minus 240 line, I still think that's not terrible. I don't think that's the worst value, considering you know one guy's coming in with a broken hand. I mean, that's not the worst. And I don't know if they've confirmed that it's broken or not. Some people are saying it could be like a buildup of fluids, but I've seen the majority of people are saying it looks like it's broken. I'm just not a doctor, but it looked pretty damn jacked up. It was pretty nasty. So yeah, for minus 240, I do have him parlayed up at this, and I took the heavy juice. I said, you know what, screw it. I can live with it. If Michael Aswell manages to lose to a guy with one hand, I can live with that bet and sleep tight at the end of the day. You know, I can sleep on that. But anyway, we'll talk about that here in the end. Next up, we got Ricardo Ramos versus Khan Ofli. If I was going to place any bet on this, I would just probably take Ricardo Ramos's money line at minus 200 or just about. That's probably the only value that's sticking out to me. I didn't really want to play this. I'm not huge on Ricardo Ramos. I faded him. I've made money fading him in the past. And Khan Ofli, he hasn't really had any success. And I like the fact that Ramos is the Brazilian fighting in Brazil. If this is very close, I could see him edging it out. 2-1 though on a guy who really just had a ton of issues with his reliability, and it's just, I don't know. He should win this fight though. It's like I keep going back and forth on this. If this was a coin toss, this is almost like the Jonathan Denise fight. We'll talk about this here in a second. If the odds were closer, I would definitely have action on Ricardo Ramos. But just the minus 2-1. It's just barely keeping me off. It's barely keeping me off it, but nothing on this one. So next up, we got Jonathan Denise versus Mario Pinto. Now, I actually, the more I thought about this, I watched both of their Austin Lane fights back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they both gave Austin Lane the first round on the scorecards. I'm like, okay, it's not a good look. Not a good look for either guy. But then I rewatched them this morning, and I was like, you know what? Both guys fought completely different rounds. Those were completely different rounds that they gave up on the scorecards. You had one guy with Jonathan Denise where he was just taken down and dominated on the ground and grappling for the entire round. I can't say I'm mind blown there. And that's not that bad of a look. Austin Lane is huge. He's empowering. He can take guys down. And his best ability is really just to hold you on the ground. I mean, his striking is not great. And you look at Mario Pinto, his first round, he gets dropped by Austin Lane. Austin Lane's kicking his ass, beating him up on the feet in the striking. He was losing a striking battle to Austin Lane. And he got chinned by Austin Lane. And I go back and I'm like, all right, let's do a little deep diving on Mario Pinto. I don't remember any of his regional scenes. I don't remember that shit. So I'm looking back and I'm watching. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's getting dropped by absolute regional scene bums. And I'm like, oh my goodness. He was fighting I forget the guy's name. He was this like huge Swedish dude that Mario Pinto was fighting. I was just watching that back this morning. And I'm like, oh my, he's getting dropped by this grappling one-trick pony BJJ sub or bust guy. And he's getting dropped on the hand with the hands by this guy. I mean, oh my goodness, I cannot pick against him. We got a coin toss line. We got Jonathan Denise, much more experience. He has the better chin, better durability. He's fighting in Brazil. It's home crowd for a pick'em. It's a heavyweight fight too. These guys, the older you get, the more crafty you get, the better experience you have. You can hang. I like the 34 years old from Denise a hell of a lot better than what is Pinto? 27, I believe. Sorry, I'm looking this. What is he? 34 versus 27. Yeah, they got the same reach. I mean, Jonathan Denise does have a half inch on him. I feel like everything's looking for Denise. We know Denise can actually hang in the UFC against somewhat decent level of competition. He didn't knock out the Austin Hines guy, or no, what's his damn name? It's not Austin Hines. It was another A. I'm blanking on his damn first name. Alvin Hines, I believe. Alvin Hines, is that right? Yeah, Alvin Hines. This guy, I looked it up. This Alvin Hines guy, I was like, I know he popped for roids. I was like, all right, what was this man on? What was this Hulk of a human being taking into his bloodstream? This man got popped for 8 different steroids. 8 different steroids, including hormones, like growth receptor, like module, whatever. I was looking through the technical list of this, and I'm no doctor. It was like complete madness to me. It looked like I was reading Chinese. But 8 different substances, including a whole lot of different shit. I mean, he was on everything known to man, everything under the sun. He was flowing through his veins. So yeah, Denise couldn't get him out of there. He still beat his ass and won the fight. So I don't really hold that against him. Whereas you look at Mario Pinto, he's chinny. He's had a lot of chin problems, and he got chinned by Austin Lane, who's probably the worst heavyweight in the entire division. I mean, it's pretty damn bad. So I'm using the MMA math here. Screw it. I'm going with MMA math because I think it holds up here. And I think there's way too different ways that those guys had those Austin Lane fights. One was Denise got controlled in the grappling, which we know has been a struggle from him, and then Mario Pinto got pieced up. Now they're fighting in Brazil too. They're bringing Mario Pinto in, this young guy. They know he has a huge, long career ahead of him at heavyweight at 27 years old. He's like a baby. He has a ton of time to develop. Denise probably has another 4 years left. They're going to try and milk him for what they can. In Brazil, he should get a knockout here. Could go to a decision because he's a bit of a slow starter. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes over or goes long. But I think Denise definitely has the power to knock him out. And for Mario Pinto, I mean, everyone's like bragging about his speed, and I think he will have the speed advantage here. But when you have a chin problem like that, when guys are clipping you like an Austin Lane, not a good look. Very not a good look. And I think against Denise in his hometown of Brazil, they're doing this matchup for a reason. I feel like this is a good spot for Denise to really shine, honestly. So I like him for a coin toss too. I'm just like taking it as a value play. I like the coin toss odds here. I think it's a good bet. And if it wins, it wins. Great. If it loses, it loses. I can live with either way. But I think the value is on United Deniz by a landslide this week. So I'm taking the value play. Got a half unit on him. I also was thinking about the plus 3.5 alternate spread. I like the durability of United Deniz. Let's say United Deniz somehow loses a split decision. For plus 3.5 at minus 200, I think that's decent value. I think if anyone, if they go chin for chin, I like the chin of Deniz a hell of a lot better than Mario Pinto. So I was thinking about the 3.5 spread. I just already have a half unit on his money line. So depending on how the earlier bets on the night go, I might consider it. I just don't know how much I want to add up or load up on United Deniz. Because at the end of the day, I don't think either of these guys are great. So it's like a, And I'm also, like I said, too, right below that, I'm thinking about a live bet too. You know, if I load up on the United Deniz, let's say we take I don't know, another half unit on him, maybe his money line, or maybe take another quarter unit, on plus 3.5 alternate spread, then we could consider a alternate play or a hedge rather, on Mario Pinto live money line. Could do that depending on how wide the odds get. We could look for something like that. It's just something I'm considering. And I don't know if we're going to get there. You know, anything could happen in this fight. It could be very close. The line might not move at all. I'm more so thinking if it gets to a wide favorite, because I do think Pinto, you know, he can hang in the later rounds if it goes longer. Deniz could maybe slow down and maybe he starts to wear damage more. Anything could happen if this fight goes long. It's just a matter of if it gets to a huge line. These guys are heavyweights. Either guy could get knocked out. It could be worth a potential hedge, but I'm not really expecting that to happen. It's just more it could, and if it gets to a huge plus money line, I might put a little sprinkle on it. Vicente Luque versus Yoel Alvarez, talk about that one next. Not a whole lot on this one in terms of the singles. We got him parlayed up though, we're going to talk about here in a second. But yeah, in terms of the singles, nothing there. Then we got our boy Davison Figueiredo versus Montel Jackson. I was looking at a lot of different lines on this. I ended up taking the Davison Figueiredo plus 7.5 alternate spread just because, you know, I look back and I'm like, all right, Davison Figueiredo, he is very scrappy, he is very durable, and I think if this goes to a decision, I'd be extremely surprised if in Brazil they don't give this man at least one round on the scorecards across all three judges. For this line to hit, one judge would have to give him one round between the three judges, and this line would cash. And I think, all right, this pretty much comes down to if Figgy can go all three rounds or not. That's pretty much what it comes down to. I mean, if he can last that long, I'd say this line should be almost guaranteed. Because Montel Jackson, I do think he should win this fight, and I have him as a high confidence pick. I think he wins, but I don't know if he's going to just knock out Figgy and run right through him. You know, Figgy is crafty, he is durable, he can last, and that he blew out his knee, yes, but at the same time, I don't think Montel Jackson is going to go for 50-50s like that and trying to do some crazy shit on the ground. He's more of a stick to the basics, bread and butter type of guy with Montel Jackson. He could knock him out. That's why I was considering, you know, maybe hedging, maybe even a Montel Jackson knockout line. It just wasn't wide enough for me. I think Montel Jackson could knock him out, and I think Montel Jackson should win this fight. He has everything going for him. I just think this is one of those. We're in Brazil. The crowd's going to be going absolutely crazy. I likely see this going long. I feel like if I gun to my head, if I had to pick an outcome of this fight, I would say decision for either guy winning. And I think at that point, for minus 160, that's the only reason why I have this, because the value is just there. I mean, if this goes to a decision, if Figgy can survive the power of Montel Jackson, I'd be damn surprised if this did not hit. Plus 7.5. Like I said, he just needs one judge across all three of them to give him a single round. I like it for minus 160. That's where the value's at, in my opinion. Because as opposed to, like, I'm looking at this line, I'm like, damn, dude, minus 340, minus 350 for Montel Jackson is pretty insane. Like, it's very wide. You know, even though I am confident he wins, if it was a coin toss, I would load up on it. It's just, you got to look at the value sometimes, look for the odds. But besides that, I was also looking at Montel Jackson and over 1.5 rounds because I do think this goes long. I was thinking of that as a potential, like, not even a hedge, but just like there's a good reality that both of these lines could hit. Montel Jackson could take it over a round and a half, and Figgy could catch that plus 7.5 alternate spread. I was kind of looking at it as like a bing bang, like a two could hit simultaneously at the same time. I do kind of like that because I do think this goes over 1.5. I'd be surprised if Figgy comes out here and just gets knocked out in the first 30 seconds. That would be kind of crazy to me. But yeah, so I was considering this, and also Figgy plus one takedown and over 1.5 rounds, minus 250. This was kind of like my sneaky little prop I was checking because I was looking through Figgy's stats. I'm like, he's got the takedown in every single fight he's had at bantamweight. So that stood out to me. I was like, okay, I think he could take Montel Jackson down too. We've seen Montel Jackson. Yes, he has good scrambling. Yes, he has good wrestling of his own, but he does get taken down. Guys like Daniel Marcos were able to take him down. I think Figgy could take him down too. So I think if Figgy could take him down, this is likely going to go over. That would likely be earlier in this fight because we've seen Figgy does the best with his takedowns earlier on. As he starts to slow down later on in fights, he does not land as well. That's pretty much been all of his fights at bantamweight. I've looked, his takedowns, he's landed the most early on. The longer it goes on, he starts to stop landing takedowns. He gets more and more unsuccessful with his attempts. So I'm considering this is like my little cheeky play I like. I haven't got anything on it yet. I'm kind of waiting to see how the earlier fights go in the night. But I'm thinking about it, man. If our boy Joel Alvarez comes in here and smokes Vicente Luque, I'll have to put a little action on this one. Nothing crazy. Like, I'm thinking about maybe half unit tops between any of these three props. But yeah, nothing more than that because I don't want to overextend on this fight. But it's just kind of, they're speaking to me. And then finally, I got one that's even a little bit more cheeky. It's the same exact one, the Figgy and over one, or Figgy 1+ takedown landed over 1.5 rounds. But it also has Montel Jackson money line in there too. -125. I think that's actually damn good value because then you're basically, all right, Figgy's likely, he's landed a takedown in every single one of his recent fights. I see this fight likely going over, right? So if we're getting there, I think Montel Jackson's extremely live. I have him as a high confidence pick because I think Montel Jackson should definitely win this fight. -125. I'm definitely going to have something on this. I might have a minimum quarter unit. I'm going to have a quarter unit on this just because I kind of like it. I think it's cheeky, and I think this likely goes long, and I think if Montel Jackson's going to win, it's going to be over 1.5. Figgy's landed a takedown against every single opponent at bantamweight, and that's including guys like Peter Yan, who has a damn good takedown defense. So I could see it happening again, and I kind of like it. It's cheeky. Don't get me wrong. It is cheeky as hell. It's definitely yeah, I mean, the odds reflect it. I mean, you're reaching. It's a hell of a lot more risky. I just kind of like some props like these. So I've actually have a decent clip with some of these cheeky props. Like, so I can hit a lot of these lines. So you're risking it though. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still risking it. If you're gonna play it even safer, you could just do the Figgy 1+ takedown in over 1.5 rounds if you think he's gonna win. Because I mean, literally, if it goes over 1.5 rounds, I'd be extremely surprised if Figgy doesn't land a single takedown. Because we know he's not going to want to strike against Montel Jackson. We know his best chance is to grapple. If he's just going to strike and box for 15 minutes against Montel Jackson, he has no chance. He's going to get fucked up. So I think he knows he's going into this with a wrestling heavy game plan. He's going to be going for takedowns. I think he's definitely going to get at least one. And at that point, you can make it competitive with the scrambling. Montel Jackson is not afraid of being on the ground. He likes scrambling. He'll scramble. He'll wrestle with you. I could see it easily going over 1.5 if they have this wrestling heavy game plan. I'm talking myself further into these lines, but I do like him. I have him here for a reason. I haven't got him played yet, but I'm telling you I will. I'll have something. I don't know which one. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out which one I want to play because I do like them all. It's kind of order of how much risk you want to take. But anyway, that does it for that one. Next up, main event. We got Charles Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. I was looking at the over 1.5 rounds. Sorry, I'm making sure you guys can see this on my software. But yeah, I was looking at the over 1.5 round line. I actually like it. I think it's pretty good value. Now, I think this fight is not going to go to a decision. I see Charles Oliveira getting Mateusz Gamrot's bitch ass out of there. I see Gamrot getting submitted. Charles Oliveira does not lose in Brazil. Gamrot's not going to be the one to do it. Screw Gamrot. I am biased, though. I don't have anything on it yet. I was looking at the Charlie Oliveira submission props, but I just couldn't get there. I was just, not yet. We're going to see how the earlier fights go. If Alvarez cashes us huge, then I'm definitely going to have a little something on Charles Oliveira. But haven't got anything there yet. At -320 for over 1.5, we know Mateusz Gamrot's never been finished. He's very durable. We know he can go long. Same with Charles Oliveira. He is dangerous, the more dangerous of the two of them. But I don't know if he's going to get Gamrot out of there that early. I'd be surprised if the finish is that early. I don't know. What's Gamrot going to do? Is he going to just knock out Charles Oliveira like Ilya Topuria? I don't see that happening. He's going to try and wrestle fuck his way to a win here. He could drag it out. He could end under 1.5. It's possible. I just think for -320, I think it's pretty damn good value. Although I get reservations, though. Like, Charles Oliveira is a very aggressive guy, so he could come out here going for the finish, go crazy early on. Maybe he wraps up a choke. I mean, because we know Gamrot is going to be going for takedowns. He's going to be presenting that neck to Charles Oliveira. It's going to be out in the open. He almost got Sarukian. I think he could get Gamrot too. I mean, it's going to be cheeky. It's going to be a bit of a sweater, or a sweaty bet rather. But for -320, I thought it could be a decent parlay leg. I haven't gotten anything on it. I was just putting it out here in case you guys like it too, or let me know your comments or your feedback on this one. It just kind of stood out to me because the line, I believe, is a 3.5 line over under. They think it's going to go under. So I'm like, I could see a round 2 finish late, maybe round 3 early, maybe round 3 late, either or. But yeah, it could go either way. And then I'm also looking to live bet this fight. I think this is going to be an amazing spot for live betting. I could see Gamrot having wrestling success early on and Charles becoming a huge 3-1 underdog. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised by that at all. I think Charles Oliveira is likely going to look his worst early on, and he's probably going to ramp it up the longer this fight goes on. So, if we get Charles Oliveira late round 1 as a big dog, I will be putting some money on Charles Oliveira live money line if we can get him as a big underdog on the line, because all it takes is one slip up from Gamrot, and he's going night-night. So, I will be putting some action on Oliveira if we can get him as a live dog, but we'll have to see how the fight goes. Like, obviously, it's live money line. We don't know how it's going to go. But in terms of the parlays, this is what I got cooking. Play of the week we got this week. I got Joel Alvarez via knockout or via knockout or submission, and Julia Pilastri money line. I just really like this line a lot. You know, Joel Alvarez, I thought about doing the -3.5 spread because I'm like, all right, Joel Alvarez is taking this fight on a bit of short notice. He is stepping up to welterweight for the first time. Maybe he's not able to get Vicente Luque out of there, but maybe he gets a 30-27 on the scorecards. I thought maybe at that -192 line, I'm like, all right, it's still good, under -200, still playable. I still like it. But I'm just going back and I'm like, oh my goodness, Joel Alvarez just fights like a madman. He just walks you down. There's no stopping. He just is kill or be killed. He's going to keep walking you down, landing knees and elbows, and he's trying to take your head off. And I think at welterweight, he's going to have even more explosive power. He's going to be a real problem. And the thing about him, too, is just Vicente Luque. His durability is god-awful. I just watched that fight back with Kevin Holland today. He got his ass kicked on the feet. He pretty much threw himself into a submission, tapped nearly right away. You look at his previous fights, Buckley fucks him up. He basically just gives up. I don't know where his heart's at. The mental side of this is so important. Joel Alvarez, I love his attitude. I love his confidence. He's coming into this with that killer mentality. And Vicente Luque is just a shell of himself. He doesn't want to take the damage anymore. And Joel Alvarez is one of the most damage-inflicting opponents you could have. I think it's a matter of time before Vicente Luque probably quits in the spot. I don't blame him. You throw me against Joel Alvarez, I'm quitting. I'm tapping in 5 seconds. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I just think Vicente Luque is probably not going to want to go to war and get a second brain bleed against the guy who has never won a decision because he finishes everyone by scrambling their brain matter. And I don't think Vicente Luque is at the point in his career where he's really wanting to get another brain bleed for a 20K bonus. I don't think he's going to want to take that at this point in his career. I think it's a matter of time for Joel Alvarez. Thanos is his ass. He is inevitable. I think it's going to happen. And Julia Pilastri, Carolina, she has just looked so terrible in her recent fights. Low volume. She's hittable. She's durable. And that's pretty much the only reason why she's surviving. I think she's going to be a step behind in the speed, the power, the volume. Her takedowns are god awful. She has no offensive wrestling. Julia Pilastri, as long as she can keep it on the feet, she's going to have the crowd roaring for her for every single shot that she lands. She's going to probably triple up Carolina in terms of significant strikes, or at least double her up. I don't see a world where Julia loses this fight. And this money line is so incredibly wide. I realize how stupid it is. It's just kind of like live by the sword, die by the sword. Trying to find some value here. And it's completely shot. But as a wise man once said, F it, we ball. So we got it as the play of the week. I was considering, like I said, the Joel Alvarez -3.5 spread, Julia Pilastri money line. I considered that. I also considered Joel Alvarez and Oliveira versus Gamrot fight starts round 2. About the same odds. I do like that one as well. I was considering this one, but I'm like, Oliveira could come out here like a crash out, and it could get ugly. We don't know about his chin, if it's fully recovered yet. It could be a potential concern. Anything could happen there. And I also placed a small half unit on Joel Alvarez in Vitor Petrino money line. I took it a little bit risky, or less risky with the Joel Alvarez here. I just took his money line straight up, so anything could happen there. I still think he wins the fight, but I wanted to have something on Vitor Petrino. You know, I didn't have any single props placed on him earlier. Where is it? Yeah, I didn't have any singles placed on him, and I did want to have something on him. You know, I do think this fight was made for a reason. Thomas Peterson's really not that dangerous. He's all right everywhere, and I think as long as Vitor Petrino can keep this on the feet, he's going to be the more dangerous, faster striker, and I think he should be a step ahead on the feet. And Thomas Peterson, really, he has the wrestling. Now, other than that, I don't really see him having any real threat here. They looked great on the scales. Petrino looks huge compared to Peterson. He looks a lot stronger, more bigger, more athletic, and we know he's going to be faster on the feet too. And we've seen Peterson. He's had shin problems before too. Shamil Gaziev ran right through him, so I like him a lot in the spot. Petrino, that is. So I wanted to put something on him, but at the same time, we've seen him shit the bed before, too. So it's like, I have him as a high-confidence pick. It's kind of like a Montel Jackson. I have him as a high-confidence pick because I really think the writing is on the wall for him to win this fight. But at the same time, I'm like, let's not overextend on a guy who has sold us in the past. So that being said, I got a half viewed on this, minus 169. And then finally, on the night, I got a little Beauty and the Beast parlay. That's what I called it, because we got Yoel Alvarez, the Beauty. We got Michael Aswell, the Beast, or American BSD. Now, it's not even about Michael Aswell more so. It's about Almeida's messed up hand. That's more so why I said the Beast, because, I mean, his hand is jacked. Minus 149. I got the juiced odds, too. I was late as shit. I took the minus 240 or something from Michael Aswell. This could age like absolute piss. Maybe Almeida has fooled everyone and he completely is fine. It was just a little bruise and everyone over exaggerated it, and maybe he's completely fine with no injury at all, and he comes in here and beats Michael Aswell's ass. That could happen. I wouldn't be completely surprised. I've seen worse happen. But for minus 149, I'm taking it. I think Joel Alvarez is a lock, so I'm pairing him up with Michael Aswell against the guy who isn't like I hope he has a broken hand. Should, in the sense of we all think, we've seen the pictures, it's pretty damn bad. It is pretty apparent that he has a major injury with that right hand. So for those odds, minus 240 for a guy that should have I keep saying shit, but for a guy that appears to have a broken hand, I'm taking it. I'm living with it. No matter what happens, I'm living with it. I'll be kicking myself if I don't have something on a guy who's fighting a guy with a broken hand. I'll be a hell of a lot more mad at myself for not taking advantage of that, as opposed to the other way around, where you're like, okay, I'm playing it safe, and then Michael Aswell comes through and runs right through him. That would make me so pissed off. Whereas if he gets smoked somehow, like, all right, you know what? We live by the sword, we die by the sword. We took the risk, but hey, it was a good value play. So that does it. I also have this Hail Mary. That's what I was talking about earlier with Luan Lacerda. I do have this Hail Mary play I had him because I placed this at the beginning of the week. You know, I was looking through. I placed this right at the beginning, so I was like, that was before the huge weight miss. Otherwise, I would not have his ass in here. It's just more so this was a fade of Simon Oliveira. But yeah, I got just a Hail Mary, 0.1 unit to win, 1.54 units total. Just a little Hail Mary Duke. Not saying I recommend tilling it. I definitely would not put Luana de Lacerda in there if I could do it again. I'm just not going to cash it out to such a small value. And that's the other thing I wanted to put on here too, is I feel like when you guys are making your plays and your bets and your slips this week, we have these big favorites, and I just feel like one of them is bound to shit the bed, and I feel like it's just a matter of which one does it. I don't think it's going to be Yoel Alvarez. I do not think it's going to be Julia Pilastri. It could be Beatriz. It could be Vitor Petrino. It could be Montel Jackson. I think it's just going to be one of them. And I feel like this, I call it playing with the landmines. We got some landmines. The big favorites that the lines are wider than they probably should be. Maybe minus, except just Yoel Alvarez. But he still is stepping up a weight class, shorter notice. We're playing with landmines this week. Anything could happen, so be careful. I'm not loading up this week. I'm taking it rather light this week. I think you guys should do the same. I just want to put that little forewarning. This week is looks like a very volatile week. It could go up and down either way. I wouldn't be surprised however this card goes. So if you're considering taking it light this week, I would just recommend taking it light. This is not a week I would want to go heavy on. There's a lot of BS going on. And we lost one of our best lines, Walter Walker. We lost that, so I'm like, a lot of landmines here, So if I were you guys, I would just play it light this week. But that does it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys found some value. Hope we make some money this week. So thank you guys for all the love on the videos. Thank you guys for all the love and the likes and the comments, support, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for all the love. So I really appreciate it. I'm going to get this video out to you guys here ASAP. It's 11 a.m. for your boy. Right now, the fights start at 4 p.m. for me. So hopefully I have to get this out, get a couple hours for you guys to get some good plays going. And let me know your best bets in the comments too. Let me know what parlays you guys are taking. I like hearing what you guys are thinking about different plays. So yeah, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, it's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and I'm out. So peace.